Go now to DryerBuzz.com and follow at DryerBuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Hello, Periscope. Hello, Facebook. Facebook, you know I'm going to do a little bit of invites out here. So for those of you that are jumping in on Periscope, if you've never seen my videos before, I'm an OG scoper. Go ahead and swipe to my profile and learn a little something about us. And then, of course, down here below you guys, I've got Facebook going on. And I'm usually on Facebook. I usually launch all my buzz, all my conversations, all the great debates. I blog live on Facebook. I do a lot on Facebook. And I wanted to start bringing Periscope back in. Now, Facebook knows when they see this is the invite screen, so they can also hear us tapping the screen and inviting people in. I usually invite, and those will come in and they'll watch, or they'll like it, they'll share it, help us get some engagement going and so forth. Then I'm going to switch the screen over. So let me go back to my frames here. I saw something really interesting the other day, which I kind of like this one now. Even though I'm not playing any music, well, that's going to block me out. So we have to go back to our original one. Okay. And I need to work on the coloring on this Facebook one. Is it my camera? Let's see. I don't think it's a camera. I think it's just a dark and gloomy day. We usually have a lot of nice sunlight behind us. And let me see. Maybe I can turn this on. Oh, go ahead, Periscope. Make me look good. Why don't you? Let me see. See, that's too much. Is that too much? I feel like that's too much, but I want to use one of these for YouTube, so I don't know where to put my glow. That's too much, right? Oh, that's a bit of a shadow there. Let me see if I can open the blinds. Maybe there's no natural light today because it's absolutely a rainy day, dark and gloomy rainy day. I want to ask you guys how you like the head wrap, because I am in between on what I want to do with my hair. I want to leave that right there for a second. So, okay, Facebook, y'all just bear with me. Do we tilt it up, tilt it down? Will that help? That's a little bit better. Okay, trying to get the shot right. And that's the thing about going live today. You know, I don't care. And I know I usually do a test shot. But even once you do a test shot, let me move that out of the way. Even once, see, I couldn't even see all those good mornings coming on there. Even once you do a test shot, you still, you know, you see people like fixing stuff. Periscope, y'all are doing a girl justice up there. I'm loving it. Okay, I tried out a head wrap. I ain't about to do that video. This ain't about to be that makeover video. But I put it on because I have not been to the barbershop. And I don't want to do my barber, who has been doing my hair forever. We go back to third grade. Not that she's been doing my hair since third grade, but we go back to third grade. One of my very best and dearest friends from the old neighborhood school and so forth. Talking about Miriam Coleman, who is at Details Barber and Beauty in the historic West End. So if your kid is down here in Atlanta and they're over in the AU Center and they want to get that, you know, get hooked up, and anybody want to do the big chop, you can definitely go and check out Miriam Coleman in the West End. It's the barbershop in the West End. Just ask anybody over there, where's Mimi? And they'll tell you, oh, her shop is around the corner there. And that's where everybody goes and hangs out in Atlanta. I also wanted to show the new shirt, and this is just basic. I'm going to tell you about the shirt. This is something we had to do because we hosted the event. I put it back on. I put it on because I wanted to show you guys. Last night we went to the hot chocolate affair, and everybody has to wear chocolate. And so we decided to do, we saw these mock turtlenecks and decided we put DryerBuzz on the turtleneck. So shout out to Celeste Dent, who said, hey, listen, I'm going to roll with you. We got to roll with the brand. And I had to run out right quick and figure out what we were going to do. And let me tell you, she rocked. Of course, she worked with a little bit more than I am. So her DryerBuzz was really buzzing. Made me feel a little some way. I'm like, Dad, I should have put on my good bra, my good padded bra. Did I just say that on now? You know I did. Sorry, not sorry. So, but how do y'all like this? I like this. I just grabbed this scarf out of the closet. Tried to remember one of the many millions of videos that I've watched about doing the head wraps. And there's something should be natural to us, okay? And so basically, and you guys can see, all I did was I put it on, did a little twist on the ends, and then braided that up, wrapped it around and tucked it. And then it had this little fringe. I was like, let the fringe hang, you know, let the fringe hang. So I'm probably going to rock these. I'm trying to decide. I want to talk about hair, okay? And I know DryerBuzz is not really the hair website, but I've worn my hair chopped since I had a son. I had 3 daughters, and I was always combing hair. Not my own. Then and then going to the hair salon. And so when I had that sun, I was like, whoa, I like that. Chop it all off, like chop it all off. And so I've been chopped for a number of years. Occasionally, I have let it grow, but what I have found is that being the blogger, and sometimes I have to like be on the go. I have to run. Let's see, good morning. The hair wrap looks great, doesn't it? Don't you hate when something like just works out like that? Because if I try to do this again, you know, and I put too much out, I'll even overthink it. Like I gotta go live. So let me just grab some woo woo, and I'm like, whoa, okay, rock that. But so it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work the next time. You watch and see. But because I have to be on the go all the time, like I was driving home this morning, I was thinking, I was like, you know, okay, do I let the hair grow? Because I remember trying to get dressed to go out last night, and I don't know why Facebook, y'all are so faded. Periscope looks so good up there, but I was trying to get dressed to go last night, and I just didn't feel my best. You know, my confidence wasn't there because, one, I got a big head. Two, I don't like hair on my sides. You know, and I feel like if I have to spend too much time, hey, Joyce Littell is in the building. I feel like if I have to, and see, Joyce wears the same frock that I wear. And if I have to spend too much time, when I look in the mirror, I got to brush it out, you know, because I'm so used to just, hey, one product, not 15. I don't put 15,000 products in my hair. I might do one little product just to give them little curls and a little shine. And I want to be out the door. But, you know, sometimes you do miss having the full body or the versatility, you know, and those things. And normally when we wear a hair chop, we're usually working with color and so forth. Good Sunday morning to you, lady. Always our inspiration. Joyce Littell is over here, y'all. She's one of the reasons y'all be waking up in strange places, odd places, other places, and now y'all out there doing that. What they call that anymore? The slut walk, where you trying to get home because y'all done listened to Joyce all night and then hooked up on the weekend. Yeah, that's Joyce Littell. Everybody got them Joyce Littell children. Joyce Littell is also just a wonderful mentor and sister of mine. I mean, Joyce Littell, that woman, she will pour into you. And all you gotta do is ask, okay? But just take that video. It is random. So thank you, Joyce, for jumping on. So I'm trying to decide. Usually, believe it or not, in the wintertime, I will actually take it all off. I know a lot of people trying to let theirs grow, but I will actually take it all off, just simply because I wear a lot of hats during the wintertime, and I like to wear hats, and I like to even do the hat wraps and so forth, especially, like, say, for instance, like right now, my hair is in transition or whatever, and I wanted to go live, and I thought, well, dang, I got to go put some product in it, I got to twist it, I got to brush it, I got to do all that. How is it going to look? Or I might get a call to go do this, that, or some news could break, you know, and I need to go run to a press conference. I don't have time to get in the mirror, you know, and I'm not a wig. I don't have the wigs. I feel like, again, my head is too big. One socialite is on with the, she was, produces the chocolate event we did last night. Go and check it out. I'm going to get ready to post a blog post about it here at DryerBuzz. So I just need to be able to move and go, right? Bonjour. So I just need to be able to really go. And when I feel like I can't run out that door with my confidence, and people always ask about our hair. You know, they really want to know what's up with our hair. It's your crown. Number one, it's your history, which is why I never really did go down that route with y'all on the whole natural hair thing, because I'm like, your hair, your mother's hair, your grandmother's hair, it's all the same. Hopefully it's all the same and all came from the same place. So I never did understand. Well, I did go into the psychological, the pathology way. Wow. Thanks again for judging and blogging last night, DryerBuzz. Amazing night it was. I wish I really could have stayed and enjoyed the entire night, but I ain't been out in a while, and I was like, okay, so I had to come home. But they had Melissa Morgan and oh my God, who was the guy, the first act? He was insane. I loved him. He did a lot of cover songs. Don't do any head wraps. And Joyce, I'm telling you, they are the best. And this one is a very long scarf. I just basically put it on, braided it up, and then just wrapped around and tucked it. You know, and I mean, I feel like this is something I could rock, right? And I was, in fact, I texted my daughter. I was like, you know, what should I do? And then she said, just, grab a scarf. Because I have a daughter who's a master cosmetologist, believe it or not. And I can't never get an appointment with her. She does this right now. She's doing the lashes and the makeup. And she just always booked. And I'm like, yeah. I'm telling you, go out there and book me an appointment and actually pay for it, right? Watch, cut, and go. That is my life. I'm telling you. But in the midst of letting it grow a little bit, because like I said, I'm irritated by my hair on the sides because I like to keep my head in some kind of proportion. And so I have to kind of like, shape it up. And because I haven't had a chance to get to the barbershop, it's like I'm rocking a wrap. Because I wanted to go live like right now. And I'm in the bathroom and I'm like, I'm usually just like ready. I don't even have on like makeup, right? I'm like just ready to go. And I'm like, dang, look at my hair. I got to comb my hair. Then I'm looking for like the brush and product. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm in that awkward phase of what I want to do with it. I need a new color and all of that. So it happens. But I wanted to talk to you about that on the confidence level because I noticed that that's where my crown is, where my confidence is in. And I need to be able to run and go and so forth. And so I was, we can talk about that. But just random things. I'm getting ready to blog. Tiffany Haddish, who watches Saturday Night Live, and I know nobody watches Saturday Night Live that I know. Before my twist, I wore head wraps a lot. I need to find some more of them because I have a lot of scarves, but the scarves that I have are large where I would wear them as accessories, like the vest and, all the different wraps as clothing. So they're a little too big to work with in the head wrap. And then, of course, that fold, let me tell you, but doing all these creative things with fabric is an art that we have lost. Felt afro cut 25 years ago strong. I'm telling you, I was just telling them, I cut mine when I had my son and took him to the barbershop. I was like, wait a minute, I like that. So why is it that we can't see a fabric? Like I went with my daughter the other day, yesterday as a matter of fact, because I was trying to come up with an idea of a shirt to wear to the hot chocolate event. And I saw these brown turtlenecks and I was going to take them and go get them embroidered. But the guy was, backlogged and he was going to charge an arm and a leg. So I had my daughter with me and she's a craft person. So I was like, let's go to Michael's. We went to a couple of places first and we ended up at Michael's and just got some glitter glue. And she just literally #DryerBuzz on it. And the shirts were awesome. And what I love about the shirts, and thanks again to Celeste who said, hey, let me rock your brand. I'm going to be a judge as well. Why don't I wear one of your shirts too? And I didn't have t-shirts. I have my regular black shirt, but we needed to wear chocolate. And I said, well, let me go and see what I can find. And I think we need to do more of this. I just feel like we need to do more of it. So I'm going to get real creative with this. And because I am a random streamer, and I try to support everybody in my streams if I'm wearing something, if I have something. And also Facebook. Let me try this. Let me see. You know what? It isn't on here. I was telling somebody to do, I guess you have to do it before you go live. They have a button on here where you can switch it around before you go live. And I see that once you're live, it's not there. Okay, that's interesting. I have to figure it out. There's a button that you can, because I went live. Remember I went live the other day and I was able to mirror it, but you have to do it before you go live because I don't see any settings. Oh, there is a light thing, but that's on the other side. Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. We found the button. It actually brightened my screen up a little bit. It was turned off. Okay, cool. So then we got a little bit of brightness there. That's better, right? Boom. Okay, I came out of like let there be light. I had the light turned off. I'm just looking at the settings and so forth. So I'm talking to you guys up on Periscope above and Facebook down below. I'll gift you with my no, wait a minute. You got to tell me how to say that. Because I'm talking to Socialite in the city. She has a t-shirt line, and it's like gorgeous, but it's gorgeous. Am I saying that right? Gorgeous? I hope I'm saying that right. So, and I noticed several people like gorgeous, but instead of gorgeous, it's gorgeous. Okay? And so she had several people rocking her brand. And that's the thing about it. And we're going to talk about that because I really want to talk about the gig economy, about selling something. Everybody's at a point of selling something. You got to sell something. And believe it or not, I woke up when we started talking about it on Facebook. Then NPR came on, literally, y'all. NPR came on, and they were talking about how it is the gig economy that is saving America's middle class. We have been under 3 presidents where the middle class has been tanking. At the same time, world leaders of other countries are lifting their entire poor out of poverty. I've had world leaders tell me personally, Yolanda, this is what we're doing. And the thing about it is, what these other countries are doing is an innovation that America actually abandoned in the 80s. Technology. I mean, think about it. You're driving around Atlanta. I used to work in the early 90s at a place called, it was Atlanta Technology Park. But yet it was a real estate park, all real estate offices, right? And so because America in the 80s abandoned technology and innovation and started trying to build their prison population, I would never stop saying this, okay? Thinking that prison labor was going to replace slave labor. All the technology that we abandoned, other countries picked it up, which is why you got other countries out there got these cyborgs and robots and things like that, and America's still trying to build a robot, and so forth. So, but going back to the gig economy, we were talking about, so it was great confirmation to hear the NPR segments, and they basically pulled a couple of segments. Honey, they had a mom on there, and she said that her and her husband, they knew having kids was going to be expensive, but they had no idea how expensive. But they thought that, and every American family thought this, you think that the money you make as a young couple, that, as the cost of living goes up, your money's going to go up. But unfortunately, in America, the cost of living, the money, our income has not changed. Income hasn't changed in 3 presidents, if not 4. And I have to remind people, because, George Bush, he loves slipping over there on the side with Obama all of them love, those 5 living presidents, they love hanging out with Barack Obama. I would put it that way, right? And distancing themselves from Donald Trump, right? So, George Bush George Bush Jr. in particularly, loves being able to hang out with that side. But there's a lot that families experience under his reign, and not necessarily all due to his fault. I mean, Clinton slipped up out of there and left a whole lot of stuff for George Bush to deal with. But what people don't realize, that's that nice surplus that Clinton had. You don't get a surplus. He didn't earn a surplus. You get a surplus from not paying bills. Okay, don't pay your bills this month and see how much surplus you have. You got a whole lot of money, right? If you don't pay your bills. Well, one of the things that what Clinton did was he took a lot of money out of things, namely community resources and things for the middle class, so that he could have all this money and build his legacy, which people seem to still celebrate. Built his legacy before he handed the reins over to George Bush. Well, when he handed the reins over to George Bush, the number one concern was the economy. And for every day that George Bush, those first 100 days, and then the next one, next one, during that time, the economy was actually tanking. So on 9/11, when that first plane hit the World Trade Center, the first conversation was, okay, well, we know America done did that to kind of distract us from the fact that we all about to be in the soup line. I don't know how people have such short memory, but we was really worried about soup lines during that time. I don't care if you were poor and middle class or if you were rich. There were billionaires I don't know if y'all remember, but billionaires was jumping off of buildings. One billionaire in particular had $12 billion. He lost $2 billion. How much billions did he have left? Okay. He committed suicide. Jumped off the... I'm going to need the rich to understand. But see, what people don't understand is it's the difference between what you're worth and what you really got, right? So when I saw the billionaire concern, I was like, well, shoot, I might need to be a little concerned. I'm like, dang, if you lose $2 billion, because him losing $2 billion of his $12 billion, that's like me living, go in my pocketbook and get $2 when I ain't got but 12. I'm gonna be mad too. I'm just saying, right? I can't go to the movies. I got to bootleg something, you know. It's a change in lifestyle. Going to the movies is a whole lot different than watching the bootleg. That's a lifestyle. There's a lifestyle change in there. I'm just saying. I got to bring it down to where we can relate to it. I'm just saying. Okay, so what people don't realize, they talk about Trump tweeting the number two trends, Twitter trends. Y'all weren't on Twitter then. When George Bush was president, see, those of us that was on Twitter when George Bush was president, y'all was out here being snotty, snubby, what is it, uppity, and calling us crazy because we was online. I got the tweets to prove it. So when George Bush was president, we was all out here tweeting. There were 2 tweets coming every second, okay? And the first tweet was, I lost my job. The second tweet was, it was just lost my job. You bougie folk, right? Because and all they had to do was say, well, we ain't got no phones with them data plan. They was calling us crazy because everybody had BlackBerries. See, only the BlackBerry people had the data plan and could tweet, right? It wasn't until 2008 when Obama was was that Obama? It wasn't about 2008 when y'all went and dropped the flip phones and the razor phones and then came on over to the data side, right? And all the other, I forget who made a phone that time. One iPhone. Maybe been an iPhone. No, y'all want an iPhone then. I'm just saying. I ain't trying to throw shade. I'm just trying to remember tech history. So in 2008, it started to change. But when Bush was president, the 2 top tweets I used to sit there and watch them each and every day because there was this report out about watching in different states because during that time, states were going bankrupt, right? And so when George Bush was president, every few seconds there would be a tweet. Just lost my job. The second tweet was just lost my house. Those tweets were coming so fast and so furious. And this was around, the whole, from 9/11 on. But that was the George Bush legacy. We were losing our middle class. Now, so what they did was they said, okay, we got to break down this middle class a little bit more. They broke down the middle class, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can go to pewresearch.com or you can go to DryerBuzz.com where I blogged about it. But if you don't, I know y'all won't take my word for it, so go to pewresearch.com or just simply Google America's 4 middle classes, right? And so then you got the top of the middle class, and then you had those who perceive themselves as middle class. You had those that were barely hanging on, that any little thing, any $400 emergency could take them out of middle class. Think about that. How could you deal with today? If you had a $400 emergency, something happened to your car, well, you ain't going to drive your car for a couple of months. If something worth $400 happened to your vehicle, you wouldn't be able to drive for a couple of months, right? There's a report out there now that's monitoring how long your cell phone is off, because that tells whether or not which middle class you're in. Because everybody wants to be in the middle class. I mean, who wants to say I'm below the poverty line or I'm poor? Which is a large portion of America at this point. This is why marriage is up, because marriage, the number one way to get above the poverty line is through marriage. If you marry, you probably above the poverty line because you got two incomes in your household. If you're single and you got 2 incomes or 3 or 4, however many it takes, then that's how people are remaining or keeping themselves in the middle class. Bring that back from George Bush through who was it? Obama, President Obama, who really and truly talked a lot about the middle class. In fact, he did a tour around the country talking about the middle class, and what he focused on in order to secure America's future middle class was to talk about, because they didn't really do anything about it, but was to talk about reducing student debt, because because what people perceive is that if they get the education, that's going to keep them in the middle class. But when you get the education and the debt, it's pushing you down. The debt is going to weigh you down till you can't necessarily afford the lifestyle so that you can be perceived as a middle class and you look like you're poor, right? That's if you pay your student loans. Because if you don't pay your student loan, then you run right here like Clint, got a whole bunch of surplus. I'm just saying, right? Am I wrong? If you don't pay your student loans, then we can call you, then you out there getting your Clint loan, you're just going to keep your surplus. You're going to let that debt build up, right? Or if you pay your student loans, then you like the President Obama and them, and you just like weight it down, trying to pay it off. Hopefully you get a book sale, you might run for president, and you can pay off your, like they remember while he was in office, they talked about being able to pay off their student loan. Didn't pay it off with a presidential salary. He paid it off because he ran for president, wrote a book, made a couple $1,000,000 and they paid off their student loans. So those are the things that are keeping America out of the middle class, when the middle class concept is now, the Western concept of middle class is going all around the world. And when you put America on the plane with all these other countries, we look bad. We look, and they want us to look good. So President Obama had the Obama administration, I won't say President Obama, but the Obama administration had a lot of these initiatives, which kind of really threw us back into the gig economy, because jobs wasn't going to do it, education didn't do it, because those who did get an education ended up getting jobs, and therefore they became part of the very lower middle class, where a $400 incident could wipe them out and put them in poverty, right? So they came up with, let's publicize the gig economy. Now, mind you, the gig economy has been around forever. It's like, okay, let's put a layer of technology in the gig economy. And that's when you came with your Uber, your Lyft, which is, hell, you could always go anywhere in America on any community block and catch a ride, right? But now you can call up a ride and stuff on your phone. You got the grocery deliveries and things like that. All this convenience economy, being able to deliver somebody something when they want it. Amazon, people are still trying to figure out the phenomenon of Amazon. Thanks, Mister, for jumping videos. Did something happen over here on the Periscope? Should I restart it, or is it still going? It's still counting. So hopefully it's still going. I don't know if something happened and you guys jumped off. Missy, you over here on Facebook now. Let me know if something happened on the on Periscope, if I should restart. Did it stall or something? So I want to talk to you guys about this gig economy. Let me grab something to drink right quick. I want to talk to you guys about the gig economy, because it virtually saved me. And shout out to the book basket over here. That's part of the gig economy. Y'all see my plant trying to survive. This artwork is part of the gig economy. That's not my artwork. That's an artwork I purchased from a student art exhibit. Running websites, that's part of the gig economy. And then writing books. Now, I'll tell you, I launched my first website in the early 90s, and it was literally called $20 Gifts website. And I want to tell you, well, $20gifts.com. I don't know if somebody got it or whatever, but that was my first side hustle gig or whatever. And I don't like not that I don't like the side hustle. I just want to kind of keep it in the terms of the gig economy, because the side hustle, the hustling have done been appropriated so much, it ain't even a thing with us no more. So let's just appropriate gig economy while they, no, it's fine. Okay, good. All right, thanks for those that are coming back on Periscope. And Facebook is below you guys down here. So if you see my eyes going back and forth in my head and so forth. Kelly Hawkins, thank you so much for coming in. So running the websites, I always knew the internet was going to be something really, really just truly important. And so I'll never forget the first website I went to. And I went to a tech expo. I don't even know how I ended up there. Just like universe be like, okay, girl, wake up, go to this, go to that. So I went to an expo, and I was excited because I got a CD-ROM. And during that time, computers had just come out, and they had the CD-ROM drive on there, right? Because remember, it had a floppy drive and a CD-ROM drive and some other stuff. I don't even think we even knew what the USB, I don't even think USB was on there at that time. And I was excited to get this CD-ROM that I could put in my computer. And I took it home, and I put it in the computer, and I heard it start dialing. And no, this wasn't AOL. I don't know if AOL was a thing at that time. No, I don't think it was. No, it wasn't. It came shortly thereafter. So I got this CD, and I put it in to see what it was, and I got it at the booth for Volkswagen. It was a CD from Volkswagen, and I put it in, and on the CD, I put it in, and you heard the dialing, all that, right? I'm like, whoa, what is my computer doing? I had to plug up to the modem, to the phone or whatever. So I must have had AOL. I couldn't have had AOL. I don't even think I don't even know if I had AOL at that time. But why was my phone plugged into? I don't know. Wait a minute. I don't know. So I put in the CD. I think I might have had AOL at that time. I think we didn't have the World Wide Web. I think they started calling the World Wide Web, because before that, you just basically dialed in from one computer to another. The internet wasn't there. You were dialing into all these different closed networks. I guess I'll describe it that way. So I put the CD in. It started dialing, and all of a sudden, Volkswagen's website came up on the computer, and I could look at cars. You know, everything they were trying, the whole message that they were trying to embed in us at this expo. Maybe it was a car expo, if not a tech expo. And there was this website, and I'm looking. Now, mind you, I done went from looking at Volkswagen to trying to figure out how could I do this? How could I make that happen? You know, how could I get into somebody's household and into their mind? And I took it back out, and I'm looking at it like, whoa. And I was like, website. How did they end up taking me from this network, which was AOL, where everybody's stuff was, to bringing me just to their website? How did they do that? So I started studying that, because I'm like, if I could do that, then I could stay home and be a mom. I could sell stuff over the internet, you know. And so I went on trying to learn how they did that. I'm like, look, I figure out how they did this, right? And there literally was no place to go to really learn how they did that. There was no search engines. You couldn't just go Google it at that time. But I found out how they did it. Somebody showed me somewhere in whatever, Osmos or whatever. But what I did was I started doing it with my AOL. I was like, well, you know, at that time you had to pay for AOL by the minute. But if you hosted an AOL chat room, you earn minutes. So I was like, well, you know, let me host some of these chat rooms and all this kind of conversation, you know, get this free AOL, right? So then I started learning how to build the websites and what was this, what's all this stuff, where could I have a website, how could I get people to dial in? And that's when I started building, I had newsletters in the community, and I used to have this newsletter. I would fax everywhere. If y'all hadn't heard that story, that's how blogging actually started. You know, you created how many of you remember newsletters? Well, I used to publish newsletters on various topics. I had a newsletter that went in the neighborhood. I had a newsletter that went to the workplace. I had a newsletter that went in the salons and the barbershops and all of that, right? Anybody had a fax machine, if I saw a fax number, you were going to get the newsletter until you called me and told me, stop wasting your fax paper, right? And if you didn't call me and it said, stop wasting my fax paper, who the hell are you? But then I kind of found out people were receptionists all over Atlanta was printing it off and making copies and putting it everywhere, and everybody was asking for it and all that kind of stuff, right? Because it had some good stuff in there. I always knew, you know, I always had some good stuff in there. So I figured out how to do the websites, and then went on. I ended up, because Black Planet came along. Let me think, who came along? AOL. After AOL, the competition for AOL was when it got to the point where you didn't have to go through AOL, and people started building their own individual websites, and other internet services started coming along, even though they were all dial-up, that you could then bypass AOL and go right to this thing called the World Wide Web. All these different websites started coming on, and then I remember I saw the website for GQ magazine. I'm like, whoa, they got a full-fledged magazine on there. Hey, Kenny, how are you? I hope that's how I say that, Kenny. And so I'm looking at GQ and how they're doing. I'm like, okay, good. I can take my newsletter, put it on there. So all my readers who would read it at work were telling me, well, you know, we ain't got no internet at home. So the readership would drop off at 5 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. You're really taking us back. I'm telling you, it would drop off. And so I would always remember that CD from Volkswagen. And I said, okay, in that people don't have it at home. I got it. I guess I hadn't unpacked it. I got to figure out what the CD is. In that, I still have these CDs, right? So in that, most people didn't have internet at home. I figured out, I learned how to, taught myself how to bring the website down to the CD. And so I started making CDs. You know, me and my babies in my dining room had a CD production, just like all the bootleggers, you know. But except I bootlegged my own self. I didn't bootleg nobody else. I bootlegged, even though people asked me, you know, could I put a couple more? I'm like, nope, I'm legit. I'm always trying to be legit. So I would bring down the website and put it on CD. We had a CD factory going on. One was putting the labels on the CDs. One was making it, and I made my own CD cases. I didn't use the plastic ones. I came up with this neat little pocket to put the CD in. And then I started distributing those all around because people still wanted to read the websites and so forth. And you could put that in. You could browse the website without having an internet connection. If you had an internet connection, then you could actually go. Let's see. You didn't text me when you made it home last night. Oh, Kenny. Oh, that's right. Kenny had to drive back to Charlotte. So glad to know. Hey, that's a long drive he did. And that's support, y'all. He drove here from Charlotte to support the hot chocolate event and then went back. Okay, so I ended up with the CDs, and that's how I ended up putting the CDs in the salons and the barbershops. Because I would have the newsletters where you would read them in the dryer section, and then barbershops and salons started calling and asking for CDs because they were running out so fast. And it was so funny. I used to love those CDs because it was so funny because people they didn't know to put the CD in the computer. They would put the CD in the car when they got in the car. So I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's real estate. What can I put on that part? So I started putting a little message. If you put it in the car, the message would then tell you. I had to go out there and learn how to code this CD, y'all. My brain, the capacity that I have, oh my God. I had to learn how to code the CD. And see, this is why I tell you guys, anything that you want to know, somebody is out there trying to tell you how to do it. And that's why I love Joyce Littell, because you just have to ask. And I know sometimes we run into people. People tell me all the time, I can't believe you shared this. I can't believe you told me how to do this. I don't know why. Because there are so many people out there who want to see people benefit. Some guy called me from Arizona. I don't know who he was. I don't know where he came from. He called me from Arizona saying that he had seen DryerBuzz and he loved it. He said, I got an idea for you for the CD. He told me, put it on CD. I said, that's when I said, I remember a long time ago seeing a CD. He said, yeah, you can put it on CD. And he told me, he said, I'm going to send you a link to learn how to do this code. You're going to have to do it yourself now. You know, because people were charging arms and legs for this stuff. And Clinton was president. Anybody had no money. You know, anybody had no money but Clinton. So I'm like, I can't pay thousands of dollars to get these CDs made. I couldn't even pay the thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to do the glossy magazine, which was really my goal. And, you know, magazines were failing all over the place. Newspapers were failing all over the place. And I'm like, well, you know, I don't want to go that route. And I wish I knew who this angel person was. But he called me, somebody in Arizona. Now, here I was in Georgia. And they've heard about DryerBuzz. They reading DryerBuzz in Arizona. You know, Atlanta wasn't even on board then. They reading DryerBuzz in Arizona. And he called me. He said, I think you should put it on CD simply because people don't read. They don't have internet at home, but they can take the CD home. And then I had to learn how to do the coding, to code one side as the music side and one side as the internet side, as the website, literally bringing the website down on the CD. And so I was doing some hella coding. And the sad part about it, at that time when I was learning all this code, there was no industry for it. I couldn't take these skills anywhere. I tried to take the skills to newspapers and television stations and radio stations and say, hey, listen, there's a day coming. There's a day that's coming, you know. And they call me crazy, insane, and a few other derogatory and deranged names, you know. But hey, you know, it ain't even about getting the laugh because I'm bitter as hell. But anyway, so... Oh, wait, it's the last laugh. Okay. So I put it out there. I started distributing these CDs. And then, God, where do we go from there? You know? And then I was doing internet radio came around during that time because they had seen DryerBuzz. And DryerBuzz, believe it or not, during that time was really big in London because Black London was a thing back then, more so than it was in the United States. Black London was a thing, and so I was getting a lot of their stories to publish, and it was kind of a national, international thing of the diaspora at that time. But then it started to grow. You know, locally, I could only reach into the salons and the barbershops and even some of the nightclubs. I remember one nightclub owner asked me, "What is everybody in my club reading?" And because I had all these stories about radio and things that were driving radio and, and all this kind of stuff. And it's just been amazing. So after that, I remember my son at 4 years old coming to me and he said, Mom, he said, because I had all these other little hustles, right? Like I had a gift basket hustle that I was selling gift baskets online and all these other little hustles. He's like, Mom, he said, I think the website thing is really working. The DryerBuzz thing, I think that's really it. But he had ulterior motive because he wanted to go and eat all the gift basket stuff. So he was trying to encourage me to go do websites so he could have all the food I had in the living room, because my living room was a gift basket business. My dining room was the CD hustle where we were putting DryerBuzz on CDs, and my closet was my tech space, right? Anytime if mommy's in the closet, you can't disturb mommy because she's learning how to teach herself how to do websites and so forth, So the whole house was this cottage industry, right? And then, and then we started doing this for other people and we tried to do it for other businesses and stuff. And, again, everybody calls us crazy. But, hey, who gets to laugh? It's coming. But anyway, so, moving from that, reason why I say we had to Americans had to abandon all of that. I had to abandon it because there was just this window where people just would not believe. People most often won't believe. They can't see it. They can't understand. If they don't understand it and they can't see it, if it's the first time they've seen it, think about it, because this is what we do. The first time we see it, we persecute it. Like, we don't like it. Think about when you hear a song on the radio. The first time you hear a song on the radio, you're like, what is that? Why? Who says that? Cardi B. You're like, what the hell is she saying? Right? But then you keep hearing it over and over and over, and then next thing you know, it's number one. Right? Well, that's what happened with technology. And there were a lot of blacks in tech at the forefront of this innovation, right? And so we had to abandon it, and everybody had to go get jobs, right? Because nobody was investing. You couldn't go, the dot-com boom burst had happened. There was nobody, the guy who was leading this entire thing took his billions and went and bought an apple farm after everybody made him seem crazy, because that's what happens. Hell, think about Kevorkian, the guy that was doing the assisted suicide, and now every hospital in the country has something called palliative care. After they done put him in prison, stole his idea about easing a person through end of life, okay? Now you can go into any hospital in the world and order something called palliative care, right? It's crazy. Balloon Boy Daddy. I feel like the entire globe owes Balloon Boy Daddy an apology, because y'all out there right now trying to buy a trip out of space when he had developed his balloon to get to the edge of space faster. And so they made it seem like he was over there hurting his children when all they was talking about, they had a YouTube channel. Now look how many families over there got a YouTube channel, right? But yet this mom and dad, probably still on probation. They were accused of hurting their children. The damn news cameras followed this balloon from one side of the planet to the other, thinking the little boy was in the balloon. Had us thinking, no, they knew that little boy was in the balloon, right? They had us thinking the man, because the first thing they do is make us hate somebody, and then they can persecute them, right? So they had us worried, oh my God, this little boy. I'm like, well, hell, if he in the balloon flying like that, hell, he's safe, right? But then they don't put him on the television. They don't coerce the kid. It was like, we did it for a show. Nobody understood what that meant. But now everybody walking around live streaming, and everybody got a channel. Everybody all up in the commercials. The guy who came home and his mother and his brother was there. Media apartheid, exactly. Came home. Hell, he's in the damn Nationwide commercial. And what in the commercial is about protecting your house. How are you gonna talk about protecting his house? That's his mom and his brother up in the house. But you telling them you got a commercial with him and his family, but tell them to lock up your house. Subliminal messages, I'm just saying. But it happens. We got to start believing a little bit sooner. Okay? I wouldn't have to sit here and tell you, hell, I sent my first tweet 30 years ago, if we would just believe a little bit sooner. How many times Harriet Tubman arrived on the plane and said, I'm gonna take y'all to freedom? We ain't never heard no freedom. And she's like, well, I'm gonna leave your ass right here, stay. And then them ones that, well, I'm finna go with her. They were like, well, no, this don't feel good. I'm finna go back. She shot their ass. It's like, no, ain't no going back. No, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could shoot some people. That's why I don't own a weapon at this point. I do have some weapons, but I try not to use them because I don't have bail money most of the time. But stop persecuting something when you've never seen it before. Stop putting these innovators in harm's way. Because if you go to the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., and there is a fork in the road in the middle of the Smithsonian, right? And on the one side, you go and you get to go and check out slavery, the history of slavery, right? But on the other side, you go this way, go to the right, it says American innovation. Now, I don't know who can't tie the two together. It's like, wait a minute. Slavery started, America became innovative. You know, was I the only one that like, wait, that all happened at the same time? All these inventions happened when they brought all these people here. Okay. Right? But some of y'all just going on off into La La Land and don't connect the two, right? And let me shout out this right here. Let me shout out to, I think it was the New York Post. They ran the Tiffany Haddish. Let me shout out to Tiffany Haddish. She did a thing on SNL. But I love the fact that the first paragraph is in there. See, this lets you know people watching and know what we're saying. The first paragraph in the Tiffany Haddish article in the not New York Post, maybe New York Times. Let me go to my girl page and see what it says. I love this. I have to tell this. Let me darken my screen here so y'all can see. Let me see if I can darken this screen so y'all can see the computer. Is that better? Okay. All right. Ooh, I can't see it. Dang. Okay, wait. I hate to go to people's pages on Facebook, but I need to grab this article. And I thought I had shared it, but I didn't share it because I particularly did not want to share it. Comments. Hey, Myra, how are you? So I love this. Her monologue was amazing. Here it is. Right here. Okay, let me go over here. Let me grab New York Daily News. The New York Daily News ran the YouTube video, which I'm getting ready to post on DryerBuzz.com, because I don't watch CNN, SNL. I would never watch SNL. And we don't really watch SNL. And she told them we didn't grow up watching SNL. So she did a great job. But what I love about the New York Daily News, the first line they said, Saturday Night Live has been crafting laughs for 43 seasons, but it's only now getting around to having a black funny woman host the show. So when you hear them say first, oh, she's making history, 43 years SNL has been out there, and this is in 2017, the first black funny woman to host their show. Now, y'all know we bring stuff funny. I was like, okay. But I love the fact that they did that. This was a fantastic evening to be the very first African-American female stand-up comedian to host SNL. I'm so honored I had to stand after. Now, the thing that gave me concern, a 37-year-old comedian kicked off a monologue by lauding the caretaker of President Trump's bogus hair and giving male viewers pro tips on appropriate behavior. She dropped so much good stuff in this segment. This is why she's a pro. She dropped so much good stuff in that segment. It even gave me something to think about. But what gave me pause for a concern was when I heard, and consider the source, when I heard, I'm trying to think of a name now. Dang. What's that girl on the top? What's the girl on the top? The comedian, black comedian, Cheryl Underwood. When I heard Cheryl Underwood, she came on Steve Harvey, and she alluded to the fact that some door had been opened. I'm like, Cheryl, come on. That's a whole nother video for me to try to explain that. But I thought she did a great job. You guys hadn't watched it.
a movie called Girls Trip. It came out this past starring Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith, Regina Hall, and me, Tiffany Haddish. Now, this movie made history. It made $100 million plus, okay? And I'm trying to figure out where is my cut of that money, because I haven't seen it at all yet. And all my friends are telling me, Tiffany, you a star now. You big time. You balling out of control.
She's
and
so comfortable, right?
I'm like, They say Google yourself. So I Googled myself, Tiffany Haddish, celebrity net worth. And it said I was worth $2 million, y'all. But I ain't seen this money. Where is this $2 million? What do I got to do to get this $2 million? Do I need to fake my death? Like, do I got to Tupac this and move to Tyler Perry Island? Y'all know Tyler Perry got an island, right? But honestly, though, before I was in Girls Trip, I grew up in foster care. And I want to say thank you to anyone who paid taxes between 1990 and 1999. Because if you wouldn't have paid your taxes, I wouldn't have been standing here today. So thank you. Thank you. I lived in a lot of group homes, and my favorite show growing up was SNL. That's my favorite show. And you have no idea how difficult it is to get a bunch of Black and Hispanic kids to watch SNL over in living color, okay? Trying to convince them that Dana Carvey is just as funny as Damon Wayans was a problem.
Shout out, right?
Twice, y'all, in a bunk bed, okay? That's why I don't mess with bunk beds to this day. I don't mess with them. They scare me. They told me I should talk about something that's going on in the world, politics, something, a hot topic. Well, here's the thing. I don't really pay attention to the news or anything. All my news comes from the beauty shop, okay? When I get my hair done, I find out what's going on in the world. And we've been talking about a lot of different stuff. They were talking about in the beauty shop just the other day about Donald Trump. And we were saying, dang, who is doing Donald Trump's wigs? His lace fronts are off the chain. His hair is looking so good since he became the president. What kind of glue is he using? Because when the wind blows, it don't even move or nothing. That's good hair right there. And we've been talking about the whole sexual harassment stuff that's been going on. And
Hey, good morning. She's doing a good job.
I got a tip for y'all. I like to call it Tiffany's Tips. It's a tip. Listen, fellas. Listen, okay? If you got your thing out, and she got all her clothes on, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Look at the faces back there.
Wait till she take her own clothes off, then pull your thing out, okay? Speaking of men getting in trouble and stuff this past few months, I shot a movie with Kevin Hart this summer, okay? And Kevin came up to me one day at work and said, Tiffany, you've been to Thailand, China, Japan, you went to Florida, you went to Texas.
Hopefully they don't drop my video for us listening, so let me just say a little something. Hey, Daryl Jackson.
It took me like 2 years to go to all those places. He was like, really? Because I went on your Instagram and you was wearing the same outfit in all those places. And here's the thing. That's what I can't stand about the internet, because it's messing with my fashion game. I feel like I should be able to wear what I want, when I want, however many times I want, as long as I Febreze. What? Like this dress. I wore it on the red carpet for Girls Trip. And my whole team, they told me, Tiffany, you cannot wear that dress on SNL. You already wore it. It's taboo to wear it twice. And I said, I don't give a dang about no taboo. I spent a lot of money on this dress. This dress costs way more than my mortgage. This is an Alexander McQueen, okay? It's a $4,000 dress. I'm going to wear this dress multiple times.
Oh, my goodness.
You might see this dress in 2 sketches tonight, okay? If somebody invites me to a bar or bat mitzvah, guess what I'm wearing to it? This Alexander McQueen.
All right, she was so on point, and notice she said a bar about Smith because she know ain't nobody watching it. And one of the things, and a lot of people don't realize what these celebrities do, like going on there right there. You know, the way she gonna make more money for that. The richer, the richer, the rich. Not talking about the middle class, like we've been talking about the middle class all day. They will then invite you. See, people don't understand how these celebrities really make their money. It ain't about being on television. It ain't about being in these movies. They really make their money because there is a whole echelon of folk out there that like to get up close and personal with them. So you best to believe her phone is ringing, and she's going to go open at somebody's birthday party who's going to pay her more than any movie, any skit, anything on SNL. I mean, that's just how it is. I'm telling you, Beyonce is still out there doing private parties because that's where the money is. I'm telling you. So you got to understand. Thank you so much, ATL 99 Photography. I mean, that's just really what the money is. When you hear people talk about it's a platform, that's what they mean by it's a platform. Now you got everybody running around here talking about it's a platform, but the platform for them is once they get to a certain level, there are people out there. Remember I talked about the billionaire that lost $2 billion. Those are the people that invite them to come play out, do all kind of stuff, and so that's why she dropped that note there. But I thought she did very well. She mentioned In Living Color, which is what a lot of us watch. We didn't really watch. Oh, I forgot I got batteries warnings on this thing. Let me plug this one up. And I'm probably gonna end up that one up there. Probably gonna end up stopping. I can check that one. Can't check the Facebook one. Let me see where we at. Okay, we good. So I'm gonna get ready to jump off here because as you can see, I've got to do some blogging. Both my devices are getting ready to die out. But I just wanted to just come on and randomly talk about some things. Sometimes I just want to turn on, see how I look on camera, but then y'all pull a great conversation out of me. I do want to talk about, and I probably trying to think if we can have this conversation here. Let me see if this other charger, I think that charger messed up on me. We'll get a little juice and we'll switch them around. But I do want to talk about the gig economy, guys, because we've been late to the game on a lot of stuff, okay? Late to, and even the gig economy, even though, see, now it has a language. When you hear people say the gig economy and ride share, all these convenience economy, delivery services, and things like that. You've been hearing America say that we have got to get back to doing things with our hands. We've got to get away from this service industry. When you think about, rideshare, that you no other country, somebody taking you to the store or to work or to the club, that can't be done by another country unless we ignore what we can do for ourselves and they buy it out. That who's to say? I mean, we can't afford to miss the boat on this. This is literally what's keeping Americans in the middle class. And I talked about the fact that we started out tweeting about this morning, and then NPR came on and they had an interview talking about it, a couple of segments on it. And there was a mother, she said that, let me see if I can get it. I need you guys to hear it only because NPR.org. Only because I guess I need to validate what I'm saying so that I can get your buy-in to it a little bit more. One family was on, they talked to a family this morning. Let me see. It was programs and podcasts. Okay. Ooh, I have no idea what it was. Let me just see if I can search it here. But so now we're at the point where we have a language. Look at this right here. Came out in August. Changing the way apartments operate in the gig economy. And so somebody's trying to get some laws changed. After a decade of easy monetary policy, afterwards we'll discuss how some companies are trying to make it easier to rent apartments on Airbnb. So that's y'all don't understand. Look at that. Efforts increase to bring health and other benefits to independent workers. Because if gals, look here, something about gals in the gig economy, why the gig economy may be shrinking, how the gig economy workers make a living. Gig economy reduces lower quality entrepreneur activity, studies show. Hello gigs, how one word sums up the new economic reality, okay? I'm trying to think, it was, how do I get to, let's see, all podcast, I don't know. Oh, wait, let me go. Can I go here? Shoot. See, I don't think it was local to my station, though. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. So I'll just tell you what it said. So they talked to a family, and this family, what their concern was, they have they wanted to start a family. Now I know a lot of people get crucified for wanting to start a family, but they thought, okay, we're young adults. We start having our family. Over the years, our income has got to grow, right? Because the economy is going to change. Used to be people are used to getting cost of living increases. We go educate ourselves, we go get a little skills, this, that, and the other. And over the years, our income level has got to grow along with our family. Well, of course, that didn't happen through the last 3 presidents, from Clinton, Obama, and Bush before, and now, Trump, right? And so it's certainly not going to happen through Trump. Even though some people are having some good income increases, not that you can liken it to Trump, but if Trump ever becomes smart enough, he could claim it as a success. Hell, Obama could have claimed it as a success, but he did not, because he spent a lot trying to defend off detractors. But the gig economy, technology-wise, actually grew through his administration, and there was a lot his administration was doing that he didn't really verbalize as a legacy, but the legacy is kind of there. So this particular family said, okay, well, we're young, we start our family. True enough, our income is going to grow. We're going to secure our place in the middle class. And they found that wasn't happening, that they had their family and they had all these expenses, and they decided to, educate themselves. That ended up being more of a debt burden, that the jobs, careers, weren't necessarily out there to sustain the lifestyle that they really wanted for their family, or to be able to educate their children in a particular way, or better yet, pay some bills, buy some groceries, keep the lights on, right? With all this surmounting debt that was happening. And so they had to revert to the skills community. They had to go in there and learn some skills, because, that knowledge base they had didn't really pan out. And at the same time, not wanting to have to fork over their children to so many different institutions that are out there. They wanted to parent their kids. So, okay, well, we're gonna have a priority of parenting our kids. How we're gonna do this? So the mom decided, well, I'll go into the gig economy. So what she did, set up a workstation very much like I have here. She could work at her workstation and stay home and watch her kids. So she does some type of sales, she said, on the computer. Guess what else she sells? Damn eggs. They had some land. Let's get some chicken. Let's sell some eggs. Do y'all know how much money you can make on some damn organic eggs? Hell, a regular carton of eggs coming from God knows where costs 99 cents. But, hell, a carton of farm fresh, free-range eggs that most people want to eat today costs $5, right? So they sell eggs. Now, this is not making them rich, but it is keeping them in the middle class. And that's what people were talking about this gig economy. These are things that are keeping them in the middle class. When I decided 3 years ago, and I don't know that I decided, but to go into the caregiver space, I love to be able to sit here today and say, I made the most wonderful decision that I would leave my career and go into my home and take care of my family. I wish I could say it that way, but my job was like, you and them family responsibilities, you need to do something with that. No, they didn't do it like that, but that's what normally would happen. I luckily had a different kind of job, and then I had a lot to fall back on in the gig economy. So I did make the decision that, okay, if somebody in the family has to be in the caregiver space, because you cannot leave your loved one to this system that we have out here called healthcare. Somebody has to be there to monitor it 24/7, okay? And so we decided that I would be that person, because I had the skill set to do it, the skill set to go into the gig economy, and we made the family decision that I would be the one to do it. And not only that, hell, I had just wrote a book. I was getting ready to go on a book tour. I was getting ready to travel the world. Luckily, I was prepared to do that, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just stay here, right? Now, mind you, saying that, I wish I could say that I made that choice, willingly to leave that lifestyle and so forth. But I did. I made it. Coming through it, I was, kind of had a FOMO, a couple of cases of FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, wait, I had a wonderful life. How am I here emptying bedpans? What happened? But I'm glad. I'd love to sit here today and to be able to say, I abandoned my career and not my mother. I don't know what if I had to sit here right now and say, I abandoned my mother for my career, I'd be a basket case right now. Right, I'd be an absolute basket case. But because I was able to say that I abandoned my career and make it look good, because I brand stuff, right? But it was trauma. I went through unsurmountable trauma over the last 3 years dealing with our healthcare system and trying to usher my mother into heaven and to make the decisions that we had to make as a family. Fighting with all kinds of institutions and people who think they had the best education in the world, thinking they knew everything, and I'm having to make their ass sit down and watch a goddamn YouTube channel because you about to kill my mama. But anyway, I am lucky to say that I can sit here today and talk to you about the gig economy, but talk to you about the gig economy with personal experience. Not just because it gets good hits on my website, not just because I get invited to go give amazing talks in front of amazing people about the gig economy, but the gig economy kept me in the middle class. It literally, because when a person gets ill in your family, and I'm going to be doing a video with Kim McLeod here soon, we're going to talk about this. The way for me to remain in the middle class and not end up in absolute poverty out on the street was the gig economy, guys. So I don't want you to persecute it any further. Just because you don't understand it, you've not seen it, you might be afraid of it. It is keeping America in its middle class. And they're able to two things keep it that where America remains in the middle class, and that is its immigrants, okay? And it's convenience economy. This economy, and let me tell you, go over there and click on Periscope. The first thing Periscope tell you, created by immigrants. Okay, they like, look, America ain't create this, right? Americans didn't do this. Because the Americans, the version that the Americans created, y'all persecuted, so they abandoned their technology. And now you got all these other people coming and acting like they done invented this kind of thing. But let me tell you, I was live streaming just like this in the 90s, okay? But we persecuted. Those people were called crazy. They were like, what the hell with y'all? You know, we'll wait. It ain't going nowhere. It's definitely coming. So if you have questions, hey, Dr. Henry Carter, you have questions about the gig economy, let me tell you, the facts are it is saving, this new economy is saving America. Because we have been a service industry for so long, and those services are really no longer needed. They're no longer profitable. They're no longer keeping billion-dollar institutions afloat. They're no longer keeping these companies. I'm full of chocolate, honey. How you were there and I didn't catch you. So it's no longer keeping these economies. You know, newspapers who used to have staffs, and I was driving through downtown Atlanta. It used to be you would drive through downtown Atlanta and the newspaper had probably 3 or 4 buildings. I could barely find the one building that they have. I don't even know where they are at this point. They used to take up, in fact, that entire goats that they're now trying to sell to Amazon, that used to be the newspaper, okay? All of that design was, the newspapers had that, you know, media had that. I mean, look at CNN, from CNN on up to 5 Points, all of that used to be your local newspaper, not even your national newspaper. That used to be your local newspaper, had all those employees, all those staff, and then what they do, they sit down and do just like bloggers. They'll go grab a video here, or YouTube there, or Instagram there, and that becomes your news. They out there running around with phones and things like that as well. Let me try and put some battery up here as we are switching these things around. I don't think I can charge that one, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to end this. Let me say goodbye to Periscope, guys. I'm going to end this video because I do want to save it and get it on thing. But stop persecuting. Just because it's your first time seeing it and your first time hearing it doesn't mean you have to persecute it. And that's just what we do. It could be something that could one day save your family. Again, you can go out there, you can go to DryerBuzz and read about the gig economy. But if you don't want to trust me, go and look. I just pulled up gig economy on NPR, and they're talking about it. You know, now we have the language for it, which I think is going to help a lot more people understand it. But if you have not, if your family is not in any way tied to this gig economy, not just being a consumer of it, but finding a way that you can truly benefit from it, then you're missing out. You're missing out. Not only that, like I have a choice right now. I can decide in my day, I can decide if I want to go back and pick up my career right where I left off, because it ain't changed. The salary ain't changed. The skill set ain't changed. The location ain't changed. The opportunities are still there. But I'm like, but if nothing has changed there, is that something? The corporate politics ain't changed. Do I want to go back to that? But to be able to, I can sit here today and say, y'all, I got a choice. I got a choice in the matter. In fact, I've talked to my kids. I was like, I appreciate the fact that they allowed me and supported me over the time that I was taking care of my mom. And I was like, well, now I think I'm going to go. But they're like, no, don't go yet. Don't go yet. Because they want me in that kitchen cooking and cleaning. And they might soon want to drop some grandchildren off over here. I don't know what they got in mind. But I put a world trip on hold to take care of my mom. So I might grab my passport and y'all may see me go live anywhere. Let me find a good flight. Anybody got a buddy pass? I will take a buddy pass to Paris. I'm just saying. I'm open. We can barter. We can trade. Whatever. All that kind of stuff. But it's still, I'm about to say something Tiffany has. Hey, Curly told her and so forth. And so forth. So I'm just saying, America spent 20 years shading technology. Okay? 30 years avoiding it. And in between the 20 and the 30 was 10 years that we abandoned it. So now that we are back here, let's really do something.
You are definitely a spiritually filled, thinking woman. And that is what we've been lacking in our community.
Go now to DryerBuzz.com and follow @DryerBuzz on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all about the buzz.